clase. So today we're going to be working with a different type of preterite verb. These are preterite of the IR stem changing verbs. So let's take a look at what we're working with today. Now, all of these verbs are IR verbs. They're going to end in IR. And they're going to have a stem change in the preterite. So again, we're talking about the preterite tense specifically here. Not every tense, preterite tense. Now, you know by now that if you see a stem change verb, it usually has changes in other tenses. Well, in the past, you called them a boot verb. Here, we're going to call them a skate verb, because if you think of an ice hockey skate, the only spot that these verbs will have a weird conjugation is in the third person, like the skate of a hockey skate. So the nickname for these is actually skate verbs. We have a couple different types of changes. The first is E to IE. So this letter E in these verbs is going to change to an I, but again, only in certain conjugations. So we're looking specifically at the third person, both the singular and the plural forms. So third person singular and plural are going to get a stem change. So if we have the verb pedir, to ask for, we know that in the preterite it should look like this. Pedí, pediste, pedimos. And for vosotros, pedisteis. All normal, nothing weird. But then when we get into third person, we're going to put pidió, with that I that shows up, and pidieron. So again, we've got that stem change verb in the stem of the verb. There is a change, E to I. Now what happens if a verb has more than one E, as some of these do that I'm highlighting right now? Remember that we always change the vowel that is closest to the ending when there's multiples of the same vowel. So this E here, this E here in repetir, and this second E in preferir. Those are the ones that will get the change. So it has to be the one closest to the ending. So for example, if we take the verb preferir, which has that double vowel, our normal preterite would be preferi, preferiste, preferimos, preferisteis. And now when we get to the third person, this is where things get funky. So now we've got that I that shows up. So prefirio and prefirieron. So again, we've got that stem change on that second vowel. And the E becomes an I. So you need to know what these verbs mean, and you need to be able to recognize that they have an E to I change in the preterite tense specifically. Know the list, recognize that they have a change, know what they mean in English. The next type of change that we have is O to U. There's far fewer verbs here. We're only going to worry about two for now, morir and dormir. Once again, they're going to have a change, but most of the conjugations are normal. So in the preterite, we'd have dormi, dormiste, dormimos, and dormisteis. But in the third person, singular and plural, things get weird. So we've got dormio with that U, and dormiron, again with the U showing up. And morir is going to behave the same way. So it'll also have the U show up only in the third person, singular and plural. Again, memorize that these verbs have a change, memorize what they mean, recognize that they are, again, IR verbs. Then we have this verb reír. It's special, it means to laugh. So it's going to have some funky accents show up, so we're going to put it in a category all its own. So we've got reí, reíste, reímos, and reísteis. So some extra accents that you might not have expected. Then we have río and rieron. Again, we have this weird switch where that E after the R kind of disappeared. So we got to keep that in mind. Some extra accents and an extra I hanging out that we might not have expected to be right next to that R. Now the best part of this verb is, for special spellings, is we're next going to work with sonreír. You'll notice that reír is literally built into this verb. Sonreír means to smile. So because reír is built into this verb, it's really helpful for us, because if we can conjugate reír, all we have to do is put son in front, and voila! Now we've got to smile, but in the preterite, including any of the weird spellings and accents, and we're good to go. Easy enough, right? So if you know reír, all you have to do is put son in front to get the conjugations of sonreír. Again, another IR, weird verb. So to recap, we've got 3 different types of verbs we need to be aware of. Well, 3 different changes. They're all from IR verbs, E to I, and these are all those verbs you need to know. O to U, our verbs here, and then our special spelling verbs, reír and sonreír. Again, you need to memorize this list. You need to know what the verbs mean in English and recognize that they have a change. Again, keep it simple. If you remember these rules, it'll be easier to keep this in mind. So all of these are IR verbs. We're using them in the preterite. And then remember the nickname for these is skate verbs, because when we conjugate, they're only going to have a weird change in the third person, singular, and plural. Therefore, they're known as a skate verb. Now this requires some serious memorization, so you're going to need to practice what these verbs mean, make some extra flashcards if need be, and use something like conjuguemos in order to memorize the conjugations and where you're going to find those irregular spellings. Good luck, practice a lot, hasta luego.